If you're looking for a company who does things the right way and you'd like to learn how that is done, listen into this interview, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, to Your Little Castle Show. We are fortunate to get to know some of the premier business owners in our little city here. St. Louis does have some of the best in terms of businesses, the leaders. It's just a great little community, and you get to meet these people because the joke that a lot of people make is St. Louis is the biggest small town in the country. But if you don't do something right, boy, they'll hear about it in St. Louis, right? Oh, yeah. So that's why you can see a company like this. Callier and Thompson Kitchen, Bath, and Appliances has literally set the standard, there we go, for those in our community to see how a business in St. Louis that's born and bred here in St. Louis and how you carry the torch. We've got a torch award we'll talk a little bit about here too. But just a great business. So welcome back, Bob, Josh. Carolyn's over there. She's going to be here in just a minute also. We got all the people we need in the building here to talk about this a little more. So Carol House Furniture, because you like nice things and in your little castle, thank you for your support, Carol House Furniture. Here we're going to get into, but let's jump right into your guys' website and your guys. One of the premier places. You guys have every social media I saw out there. I'm like, which one do you want to talk about? Facebook is in the age group that we're all generally our audience, right?
Yep.
It started back in 2004, and now we're 2000. So when we were in our 30s, some of us, and now I'm in my 50s. 20 years of Facebook, right? All right. They know everything about us, but that's a good place to put your business because you can share with people what you're doing. I get about 1 million views every quarter on my stuff. I'll show you how to do that if you want me to teach you that. But most people understand how is it possible. I'll show you how you do that. It's not actually terribly complicated. It's about being consistent. How important is it to be consistent? Would you say?
Oh, it's very, very important.
Probably one of the most important attributes of any business. Talk about that one as I throw that on you for unexpected, but I'm throwing it.
Yeah, that is unexpected. I think we have to be consistent all across the board. We have to be consistent with our employees. We have to be consistent with our customers, and just always. I think our biggest consistency is just doing things right, doing the right thing. Whenever a decision comes up to be made, whether it's a normal decision or a difficult decision, you just you sit there and think what's the right way to handle this. And
yeah, I mean, how often do we end up in that situation? That brings up where we talked to Josh here also. But as my question, I read the questions right off the screen, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I keep it consistent, right? What's the one thing that sets you guys apart? And how does that consistency play into that? Because as a matter of running a business, there's nothing consistent about any two bathrooms, right? Or two kitchens. They are all different in some way, whether that's the same. You've got what they call the cookie cutter houses where the developer has 6 different platforms and there's 150 houses. So but even within those houses, they changed whether you get marble or you get wood floors instead of carpet. There's a million things. How do you push that consistency there, but also have so many variables that are involved with the process?
We used to. We've been doing the same thing for so many years now. I mean, it's just know what you run into one thing, you know what to do to take care of that, and then move on to the following. And
it's amazing though how many times we run into new things.
Oh, constantly. Yeah.
It's bizarre when you think about how many kitchens and baths we've done over the years, and then on top of it, just the people that have worked for us, what they've run into in their experience, that we've run into things all the time. And we're like, this is the first time we've ever come across this.
But the solutions, I mean, that's why I guess it's all the same, only the names are changed. Mm-hmm. That's a John Bon Jovi, right? But literally, it's a very different situation, but you've dealt with these similar situations, so you know how to apply a fix. It might be modified a little bit. The measurement's 6 inches instead of 4 inches for the fix, but you knew that was the piece you had to measure to fix it, right? Or the variables that come up. How much of that is what's going on here to helping somebody?
It's often. I mean, the one the steel we discovered recently, that was a bigger one, but usually it's something minor, something small, and the guys know how to take care of it. Occasionally not. We come together as a team and figure out what the best course of action is, and go to the customer and give them some options. And and get taken care of.
We found a hidden room one time.
We did, yeah.
We found like it was like a powder room that had been
Was
blocked.
this for the government or where was it?
No, it was in Chesterfield. It was just closed off. It was walled off and just completely shut down. And we discovered it during demo. Had no clue it was there, and the customer was pumped because they wanted to turn it into a walk-in pantry.
Okay.
So we got everything out of there that we needed to. We opened it up and ordered, made it look like it was another cabinet, but there were cabinet doors that opened into this walk-in pantry.
So I'm going to use another quote here. Could it be from what I get from Mama Rethwish? The show must go on. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of hurdles with whatever you're doing in life, but how often is it the case? You found an extra room.
Yeah.
That is a bit of a gold mine, per se. We'll talk about that in a little bit here, everybody. But I mean, okay, now they've got a little more real estate to work with, and now the plans change a little bit. So you guys learned, you quickly made an adjustment. They said, okay, how can we do this? And on the fly, you're like, okay, how did you work with them on that particular instance?
Well, we took a look at the space, made sure it was going to work out, and had our designer come out and design a pantry, and then worked with the cabinet company to come up with a way to keep it, to make it look like the rest of the kitchen, but also stay hidden, so that they could.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent sized room.
It was, yeah. It was pretty cool.
It was fairly shocking, but.
All right, well, that's the name of the game, everybody. I mean, life throws you hurdles. How do you respond to that? We talked about that. Watch that first show, everybody. Lots of great information from some experts here to show you how great work they do, and somebody you can trust. Maybe you learn a few things from them too. What is it you think that is often the case as far as, I mean, there's a million mistakes that can be made by a consumer. Mm-hmm. This is a big deal, right? They're tearing apart their house. They're going to have something brand new that's going to look beautiful when they're done. But what are the mistakes that people make? We talked about that a little bit in our pregame prep there. Talk about those. Who wants to tackle that question? Because that can come from all, too. Whether they're big problems that the president has to help remedy, mm-hmm. or along the process and the production manager has to handle.
I would say there's I don't know if there's a biggest one. That's tough to say, but I would say one of them would be, in today's world, consumers have all kinds of information at their fingertips, and they can do tons of research on us. They can come in, they can meet with the designer, and at some point during that process, they're going to trust us to do business with us. So once they've done that, I think it's important that they allow us to go through our process and trust us through the process and understand that we're going to stick with them, and we're gonna do whatever we need to do to make them happy. And I think sometimes just people handle stress a little bit differently. People handle hiccups a little bit differently. And I think it's just that, we're gonna take care of it. We're gonna get through this. We've done this before. So I think that would be one. Do you have any on?
Yeah, so Josh, you're the one in the field there, like dealing with them. Then when they they find the extra room or they have the steel, how do you handle that? You got to say, okay, we've got this under control.
Well, I mean, the first thing is just to figure out what the options are for whatever you uncover or whatever problem may arise. And our designers are great at helping with doing that as well. They're the first interaction the customer has. They design the space with them. They trust them to lead them in the right direction, and then we just kind of try and help on our side make whatever they come up with reality. So.
And I guess that's where the many years of experience kick in, right? That's where how many years of experience are you bringing to the table? First question they ask somebody before they hire someone, right? How many years have you been doing this? Well, I don't care what degrees you may have had. That contributes sometimes, right, depending on what you're going for. But literally, like, that experience is dealing with these problems for now. Is it 9 years? Is that right?
9 years. Yeah, this August here. I've been doing this since I was 19. That's when I got started.
Yeah, so 9 years here was Callier, but a lot longer than that too. So you got a whole vast history. You started when you were how old? Did you? 19. 19. Okay, and bring that expertise to the table for everybody. That's got to make it. Bob, is that?
Absolutely, and I think one of the things that's important for our entire team, I mean, everybody's on the same page when it comes to that. I mean, it's the entire team, from the designers, production team, everybody. They're all on the same philosophy, same page of let's get this done, let's get it right, let's make people happy, and that makes it pretty easy for us to roll with it, and just do what we need to do to make things right.
Yeah, it's another situation. Everybody, don't do this in some cheap fashion. Is that a mistake a lot of people make? They say, I want to cut corners, I want to save a few bucks, and they're literally slitting their own long-term potential with this because things are going to break down, things are going to work out. They're not set up the way they should have been for longevity or quality.
Sure, everybody has a budget. So, I mean, everybody has some sort of a budget. Even the largest projects we have, there's a line somewhere. So, I think it's important to if you trust your designer, or you trust the company that you're working for, or the person you're working for, and you have those open, honest conversations about what your budget is, what you want to accomplish. Our designers are great at suggesting ways to keep the costs down for a particular project, but without sacrificing quality or without sacrificing the things that they really want to get done on the project. So I think you can cut corners per se, or save money per se in certain areas, but knowing what those areas are to where it doesn't actually impact the quality of the project is huge. So I would say don't cut corners in the wrong place.
Don't cut corners in the wrong place, everybody. We all know cutting corners, which is a bad connotation just by definition.
Yeah.
But people will save a few bucks only to literally cause problems. I mean, how often is it the case? I mean, maybe this has happened. You've seen where somebody came in, things didn't work out the way it was supposed to. Then you get the call and they say, we know we can trust Callier and Thompson. You have to go in there and literally redo some of the stuff that had been done prior. So that costs the client a lot more money.
You want to talk? We had a project, was it last year, where somebody hired like a pickup truck guy to do a project, and he didn't pull permits, and they had hired us to do their kitchen, and they were thrilled, but they went with this guy to save money, and they called us halfway through the project and said, we fired that guy. Can you come fix this? So we had to pull permits, we had to demo, and we had to do. There was a bunch of stuff. What else was wrong on that project?
There was a lot of framing mistakes.
Yeah.
Floor joists were cut.
Yeah, I mean that's a structural issue.
Ball bearing.
Wow, so now you're impugning the integrity of the
it was
structure.
It was pretty rough.
And so this is where they saved a few bucks. They literally cost themselves a lot more.
Yeah.
We had to go and do structural repairs.
Can I give you all a personal lesson that I learned the hard way? But I had a house, and then I got pretty serious with the girlfriend, and said, no, let's build a big new house. But I decided that I could take apart and make my attic into a little extra area because I had a vaulted ceiling, so I could cut in there and go into that area. I started pulling out some of the structures in the attic. So I'm like ready to sell my house, and they come in and they go, what's that door go to up there? And I'm like, oh, it's just a little extra room. We didn't ever actually finish it. They're like, you tore out some of the trusses. So I had to go get a professional engineer and then have him design it. And then I implemented the fix myself. I'm a little bit of a craftsman. My parents have a background there, so don't just try that anywhere, everybody. And you can see the mistake I made. But how much time and energy, and I risked not the sale of my house. Mm-hmm. How often are people there, they didn't pull the permits? How big of a problem is that? I can only imagine that's a huge mistake potentially.
Sure.
They go, oh yeah, you want to sell your house now? Show me the permits for this that didn't get here, and they can't prove it. Now they got to either
open it up,
tear it up, and redo it the right way with all the money they supposedly saved.
Yeah.
And now they're spending 3 times as much.
Yep. So I would say there's ways to save money on a project without cutting corners, without going crazy. I think that would be a mistake that sometimes people make.
Okay, we'll be back here in just a minute. We're going to take another quick break. We're going to bring on the design expert she's a co-owner here, right, Carolyn? Right? Mm-hmm. Beard, and she was on the first show. If you missed that first show, she has great insight there. But we're going to bring her on here again to talk about some more of her expertise. But I'd like to hear some more of that design background a little bit. That is obviously a big component.
Huge.
For making this. If you don't get it designed right from the beginning, you're going to have all kinds of things going on that you need to answer. All right, everybody, stay tuned for more here. Check out one of our community on location. This is a great charity organization we were working with. So. Will Bates, everybody, will be inspired. Tell me about the event you got going on here.
Oh, we got a golf tournament today. Got some people coming out to support our military veterans and first responders. Everything that we raise today goes towards benefiting them, mental and physical health, overall wellness, wellness retreats, outdoor retreats, gym memberships. You think of it, you name it. That's what we do. So this is all to benefit them. I appreciate everybody coming out and taking action. Thank you.
We're at Old Hickory Golf Course. Been here for a number of events. Great crowd here.
Yeah.
How many people turned out for this thing so far?
There'll be at least 170 people here.
170 golfers, everybody. All right, if they need the Cardinal Cowboy to give out some free golf lessons, I might be doing that later. Don't wait for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Get up. We'll see you guys. Get up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwish was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up.
You had to overcome. That was
So we're back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that little rendition there, some of our community stuff. And we're having a little chit chat in between there. If you heard some of our discussion, we get to talk about what we want to talk about and kind of game plan there. Thank you, Paul, for that decision we're doing now to have a little break there, break it up a little bit, and share a little bit what's going on our planet. But yeah, we get into this. This is a project for people. This is not a small thing. There's designers that are involved with this whole thing to get it done. But tell me then, if you have an example, if you can just give me anything off the top of your head, either one of you, tell me, would you say was a time when you really helped somebody? You could tell they were in a bad situation. We talked about that just a minute ago, a little bit about a situation, but another example of where they were stuck. They might have been left out on a limb. You guys came in and said, we're going to fix this and take care of you. I can only imagine there's a bunch of those times in your career.
there have been several bathrooms that we've had to redo just because either tile work was horrible and and
To say it
you know
honestly,
they had somebody else do it, and you know they just weren't happy with it in the end, and they couldn't get the original person to fix it, you know, so they had to call us, and then it's, you know, tear everything out again and start all over, and yeah, it was kind of a mess.
Yeah, it usually is. Yeah, there's a large amount of bathrooms that get done with a lack of waterproofing in the showers. It just blows my mind. I don't really know the thought process behind that. I mean, you're trying to keep water contained into an area. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know.
It happens.
It does.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you've got, you know, you hire that guy in the pickup truck, it's hard to get them back. It's hard to get them to return your calls or your emails, and all of a sudden you're just left with nobody responding.
I've heard the phrase there, what they call that, a taillight warranty. Mm-hmm. Have you heard this before? Mm-hmm. Bob's laughing here. Your warranty, everybody, I guarantee it for as long as you can see their taillights.
Yeah.
And once the taillights are out of your side of vision there, they are gone, and you better find somebody else to help you.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've seen a couple situations, but generally you guys, obviously, I've just looked at the class of the work you guys have here. It's unbelievable. We're going to give a quick showcase here of the, this is the website. You can get this information for free on the website to look at some of their work. So I'm going to scroll over here, and on the screen behind us you can see that, and I'll switch over. But we started off with, we're at the top of the page here, so we go to portfolios, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to go down then to, did you like kitchen portfolio? Is that the one
Sure.
we want to show? And then we're going to go over here to
One more.
this one right here.
Yeah.
Artistic influence. Let's grab that. Take a look at this, everybody. Here, a great montage of all of the work that was done on an incredible job. And boy, you guys spent some time setting these up. These look beautiful. Talk about the materials necessary, special features,
Keep going.
like what you see, get started, and then all the pictures relative to that. And then here's what we're looking for, the before and the after. All right, this is one of the coolest features I've seen. I'm a web developer. So let's start off with before. You slide this over. There's what it looks like before. Is that right? Mm-hmm. And then you take your slider and you go over here and look at it now. Do you see the work that's done here? This is these are experts, everybody. Scroll down. Right. Another example within the same. And we'll go over here and back. And wow, you bring some really. I like the color scheme there too. And you literally have dozens of these features on your website that people can check from every type of setup. There's before and after. Whose idea was it to do all this? This is a beautiful idea. I like the concept.
So she was an artist, the homeowner, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so she was very creative, but she worked with her designer and, came up with color schemes and tile work and layout. So it's just having that great collaboration with your designer and make sure you're all on the same page.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, ultimately, this is a collaboration. Obviously, you want to make sure that you don't make a big mistake, and then all of a sudden you're like, pink with lavender. I don't know what the mess ups could be. I'll just ask me computer stuff. I'll help you. But I mean, why wouldn't you want to go with experts about this, right? People, I mean, I guess, and I'm not going to dog any of the big name chain anybody because that's not what we do. But there's just a difference in the overall attention to the detail. I can imagine you guys can provide because you have that tight knit group that you've worked with for decades now, and really take the time to make sure this all gets done
Right.
correctly. Is that the benefit people have by
Oh.
using your services? Tell me what it is that really helps you stand out.
Well, I think when they come in and talk to a designer and kind of look around the showroom, the greatest part is, if they've already read our reviews, they feel a little more comfortable just walking in. So when you meet up with a designer and they can actually talk about your project and they get excited about the projects. I mean, they're fun for them. And they love to offer suggestions. They love to, we have one. It's like, okay, which walls are coming out because there's definitely walls coming out. So it's fun for them to get new projects and start working with the customer and figuring out what can be done. So it's working with and feeling comfortable that your designer understands you and listens to the things that you want, or maybe the things that you hate about your existing. I mean, that's probably a great place to start. So,
What do you dislike the most
Yeah.
about the kitchen that you have?
gotta
in
know the
bathroom?
pains. Yeah, because there are a lot of people that if they can't improve what they really dislike the most, it doesn't make it worth it. But if you offer a suggestion that totally eliminates their issue that they've been having problems with for so long, it helps a ton.
Well said. And I guess, Josh, you deal with this on a regular. And some people, how often does somebody they say, okay, ready to go, walk in, then they start putting it together and like, well, we want to change this or we want to change that. Does that happen on a regular, or how often is that?
Yes and no. Sometimes more often with some customers. It's hard for people to visualize what something's going to look like. So sometimes when we get going, they decide they don't like what they thought they did. We want to change something, but for the most part, everybody, the designers are pretty great. So the software they use, they have renderings. They can see everything in 3D. They can put colors in. So the customer's got a pretty good idea what everything's going to look like.
And usually it's nothing major. Usually it might be,
No.
the dimensions on a wainscot wall
Yeah,
or something about
yeah.
a fireplace, or it's rarely something major.
Yeah.
And most of the time, guy that we're going out to tomorrow, he's like, I haven't second guessed anything so far. The whole through the project. That's all he would say every time I came. So that was always fun to hear. Yeah.
All right. Well, we talked about the technology earlier. That's one of my favorite questions. I've got it written down here. How has you talked about renderings, like 3D. They can get a visual of what it is, exactly very close to what it's going to look like, including the color schemes. It's not just a bunch of lines, right? It's literally like
Oh, it's all the scale.
it looks the scale and
Right.
the color matching and
Right.
everything. You guys have that kind of rendering for people to check out.
Yeah, and most of the time, if we're trying to get them to concentrate on the layout and everything in it, we'll stick with black and white, just so that they don't get distracted with all the colors and that. So as far as the layout and that goes, start there, but then work in the colors. And if they want to see what it looks like with a specific color countertop, or maybe their basin wall cabinets, different colors, it's easy enough to do on the computer.
Well, that's what we love, our computer technology. I'm going to go back here to the main website because those portfolios, I just want to give everybody a quick review of like there are dozens and dozens of them. This is just the kitchen, but go to the portfolio section and then scroll down and you can see all of what is available there for everyone to partake, because now you have a real live example of work that you've done and can have a good idea of what people can expect, and that's neat for people to do that. Tell me then the process. What is somebody wants to have your work done for them? What do you do? What are the steps necessary? Is it easy just to go to the website, or what do you recommend people?
So normally somebody might go on our website, maybe read Google reviews first, go on our website, check out the portfolios, and then you can either contact us through the website or call, make an appointment, or you can just stop in. What happens basically is, a designer would greet you in the showroom, sit down and talk about your project, and maybe show you examples of the things that you might be wanting. We do have a whole appliance showroom. We do have all the tile and countertops and plumbing, and all the selections are in our showroom, so they don't have to go somewhere else to see all the different selections. So they'll walk them around, and then what we do is we do go out to your home. We take the measurements, come up with a design based on the conversations that we've had. So we've already talked about your project. We know, if there's, maybe you want to keep everything the same, but it's a facelift, or maybe you want to try things in different locations. So we do come up with a design, and then we work through, it's a budget tool to include everything within your space. So if you have a 200 square foot kitchen or a 2,000 square foot kitchen, whatever it might be, it's going to come up with a rough budget for your space. And then from there, it's like, okay, by this time, you've met with us several times, you've read our reviews. If you want to do business with us further, then we get you, we do a scheduled deposit to put you on our schedule. And then we start working through the details and, tweak the design and get everyone out to your home to give really hard bids, come up with a final price and work through that. There are different cabinet lines to come up with, different price ranges. Obviously appliances can be, huge ranges of them too. So it's trying to work with the customer to get everything that they really want, but still keep in the budget.
There it is, everybody. Another half-hour discussion. Check out these full interviews, everybody. They're going to air on ABC here coming up. Stay tuned for more, everybody. Do your little castle show. Giddy up.